have the intention, make the intention strong. You just take one step in the right direction. You are going to be blessed and rewarded according to your intention, not according to the step that you have taken. The believer does not cheat, and he's not cheated. He's not going to say, oh, that means I'm going to make all sorts of intentions and I'm never going to do nothing. This is why sincerity, it is very important in Islam. You're not going to say, I'm just making intention, I'm not going to do anything. Islam comes with intelligence, common sense also. Can anyone fill up his belly with just intention of eating? No. You cannot just intend to eat. Let's speak very simple language. Can you just make intention to go bathroom without doing anything? No. You know that you have to do something. So the man must have intention and he must walk in the right direction. The danger is when man has good intention, but he's not walking correctly, he's not watching where he's walking, and before you know it, he has deviated. Why has he deviated? Because he's not checking. If you are checking where you're walking, checking what? The intention. I start from here, I must follow this, and I'll reach to one place. If you keep checking that, you are not going to deviate. You may go off a little bit, then you quickly check and say, wait, which highway am I on? No, this is wrong. I must get back. When you're not checking your intention, and in Islam, no matter if you are 100 years old, you pray 5 times a day. How much is that calculation? How many times when you are 90 years old, let's say from the age of 16? Let's say hundreds. Let's say 1,000 times. But still every time you get up to pray, you must make the intention. In all 4 mazhabs, if you don't make the intention before you pray, it is not acceptable. Same prayers you're making, same actions you're making, but you have to keep that intention, what? Fresh and alive. Because your actions may become ghaflat. It may become dead. You may be just doing it because you've forgotten why you're doing it. You're doing it because of habit. But if you're following a guide, it is the responsibility of that guide to remind you. Because Allah is always reminding. Prophets, they are reminding. But if you become blind to their reminding, you're not going to see nothing even if the signpost is in front of you. Signpost is saying turn right, you turn left. Why is that? Oh, I thought it says turn left, American style, right? It's saying to you turn right. Oh, I thought it says turn left. How can you be in confusion? But the safety of following your rightly guided leader, which is Allah's command to us. He is not going by himself. He is watching very correctly, properly. Checking himself has to be thousands of times a day, checking. He is not assuming everything is working, checking. That's why you see Shavani getting very upset with us, because we're doing the same things and we're not checking. We're thinking it's running. It's going as it should be. No, you have to check. Prophet ﷺ is saying, renew your religion. Can you make intention? I'm going to say La ilaha illallah until I die, every second, and then you don't say? How stupid is that? There are groups of people who would want to trick Allah like this, yes? Their way is to trick Allah like this. You say, you can say we're doing it, but our heart is not there. What is the sincerity? Do you want to do it or do you want to escape? Now that's very clear. If you want to escape, you'll find a million reasons to escape. But if you want to submit, you cannot find one reason not to submit. You're saying, I have to. I have to submit. Ghaflat causes us to deviate. One big reason, especially for murids and believers, ghaflat, heedlessness. When you're driving and you are in a moment of ghaflat, heedlessness, doesn't matter if you're driving your car for 10 years, going on the same road for 10 years, one moment of heedlessness, when you're not paying attention, the car will crash. The car is not going to say, I'm going to drive myself because you've been so good to me. The heedlessness. But the danger is when you're not driving, someone else is driving. When you're not driving it, we're not holding on to it with the proper intention of following your guide, someone else is. When you let go of it, someone else is. When you're not following, someone else is driving it. Who is going to drive it? Your ego. Your ego always wants you to crash. But the ego thinks, ha ha ha, now I am Lord. The ego doesn't do that just to crash itself. Ego is not saying, now I'm in charge. But the ego's share is shaitan. And shaitan says, you are in charge. Now crash yourself and burn. Come with me. Because I follow my ego. So now it is important for us not to be in ghaflat. It comes in millions of ways. This is what is making the tariqat to be the most high, the most sophisticated, the most difficult. You cannot write it in books, these things. You cannot have a manual because it changes every time. Every season, every age, every person. Every person's ego works. Although baseline, they are similar, but according to how Allah has created you unique, they will move in its own unique way also. You're not going to think this is ghaflat. You may think this is ayat. You may think this is sunnat. You may think this is a practice of your nation. You may think this is the way your father, mother teach you, your school, your system. But we should be careful because it is, if it is not following haqq, it is not haqq. Haqq is not there for everyone to think it is haqq. Haqq, Allah will send His representative who is representing haqq. And in His protocol, He is sending the most beloved one to us, one. And in His protocol, He's saying, I have trained so many. But for you, my nation, you must choose one and follow. They will warn us. They will take their time with us. They will watch us grow. They look at us and they have patience with us. They will always be close to us. They are not going to let us go. If you are holding, you will see how much more they are holding. If you are not holding, if you are holding on to your ego, then that time you will not feel their presence. Even if they are next to you, you will not feel their presence. More than that, you start thinking, instead of them representing haqq, now they are representing batil. How many people we've seen? One day they kiss Shaykh Effendi's hands and feet and say, may everything be sacrificed for you. Something happens, the next day they turn and they start spitting at him, swearing at him, cursing at him. Did it happen? Yes. Did it happen to the awliya Allah? Always. Did it happen to the prophets? Always. Do they care? No. Because where is their face turning to? To their Lord. They have done their duty. Do they feel hurt? Of course they do. As the Prophet ﷺ felt hurt. Prophet ﷺ is saying, every night the actions and the intentions of my nation is shown to me. Every night. When they do good, I'm happy for them and I pray for them. And Allah will show them the wrong things that my nation is doing, and I will cry and I will pray for them. I will feel sad. They care. They look. They spend time. This is what makes our share in this way to be different. Because it is one thing just to put a seed and to walk away and it grows up by itself. It's another thing to put a seed and you are a gardener and you watch and you take care. If that one is not holding on to you no more, so many, they declare themselves better than our share, higher than our share, knowing more. It's very simple. Usually they say, you are not listening to Grand Sheikh. I'm listening to Grand Sheikh. I know him better, so I'm not going to accept you. Same. And you're looking at them, they declare themselves better. They have their reasons. It's not making any sense, but they have their reasons. But you look to see, are they going back to the road? And are they making progress on that way? Or have they deviated? So many who find fault with our Shaykh in this way, saying that, this is not. We say, very good if you don't think that we are good. Then become better. Become better. When they were criticizing Shaykh Maulana so many years, talking about his dergah, the people, the crazies, that Shaykh Maulana says is a mental hospital. Shaykh Maulana says, I'm trying to grab the people's hearts, trying to put some love of Allah and the Prophet in their hearts, collecting from east and west, north and south. If you think you can do better, what I'm doing, go ahead. Come to the Maidan. Go ahead and do it. It's very open, it's very clear. No one can do it. Those ones that they are speaking all these wrong things about our Shaykh, our dergah, about us, we say, come to the center then, come to the Maidan, produce. Become better than us, please. Do we see that happening? I'm praying that they are correct, that they can become better, that we can learn something. But you see, step by step, they leave their Allah. Step by step, they leave their Prophet. Why is that happening? Because they left their Shaykh. You're still thinking that you're on the Siratul Mustaqim, but you've already made the deviation because there's no one in front of you that you're following. You say, I'm going to follow myself, I'm going to follow my ego. So many saying, why I have to follow a man? I make my own research and I understand. MashaAllah. Why you make your own research? You make your own research, you read what? Your own writings? Your own thinking? Your own philosophy? No, you follow another man's philosophy, no? Isn't that the protocol in this world? There are no new original thoughts. Whatever that you want to, especially in these days. In the old days, at least people, they are taking their time to think, to understand, to put things together. But in these days, they don't. They just, how we say, someone is throwing up and they eat the throw up. And then they throw up again, someone else eats it, and then they throw up again. And then they say, but they say this is original. Don't claim to be anything. As we enter in the holy months, hold on more tightly to our share. Be busy with yourself. If the month of Ramadan is preparing, if the month of Ramadan is making us to be dead to our desires, to our ego, then start being dead to your senses before. I see sometimes, I'm reading sometimes here and there, you have to understand what is happening. If you think spirituality is just hiding in a cave and not knowing anything about that, that is low-level spirituality. Because in that cave, even if you go, you must be able to see 7 levels of this earth and 7 levels of the skies. You don't see a small dark room. You don't. Because Allah is still looking to see what is happening here. And what is happening here, then you must know where you stand. You might think that you're in haqq, but you're actually on the side of batil. It is the responsibility of this world to trick us. Start becoming a little bit more dead to your senses. I'm reading. They are saying, oh, Ramadan is here. Everybody should start preparing. But instead of preparing during Ramadan, we should prepare now. I say, oh, very good. Maybe they listen to Chef and he saw that. So, start reading Quran. Say, very good. Start fasting. Very good. Okay, do all these things. Start now. I said, okay. I said, why is this very wrong? Everything looks very right, but why is it very wrong? You have that feeling sometimes when you're following Shaykh Effendi, everything looks fine, but something is not right there. There's some missing bit. Something is off. Like what they say, something is off in the symphony. If one note is off and then everything is off. And I'm saying, why is this wrong? Why is it wrong? Because it's not mentioning the month of Allah. It's not mentioning the month of the Prophet. So all the suggestions is just personal suggestions. This is what, from my research, from my thinking, from my understanding, from my experiences. There is no sunnah. You're not following your Prophet. Do you need to come up with all of this? You don't. As we said so many times, Shaykh Effendi had said so many times, the Rajab is preparing for Ramadan, Shaban is preparing for Ramadan. 3 holy months, not 1 holy month, 3 holy months back to back. And the holy nights, not just Laylatul Qadr. In the month of Rajab, Shahrullah, the month of Allah. You know how tremendous it is? The month of Allah. Allah is declaring this is my month. And how tremendous, how huge it is for this ummah. The month has always been there. Rajab has always been there. From the beginning of time, always there are 12 months. Rajab is always there, but Allah has opened this to His Prophet for His ummah. That to fast 1 day in the month of Rajab, the blessings of that is so tremendous, you will not believe it. Fasting for a certain number of days would give you so much blessings and such high stations that you start thinking in this month of Allah, how generous my Lord is. This is His month, but everything is for us. Everything is for me again. It's not for Him. Truly, He is not in need of my worship. Yes, you fast a certain number of days in Rajab. It is as if you had participated in the Battle of Badr. This is just to hook us. But for people who say, I don't need the hook, I don't need the bait, I don't need the hook, because I want to make myself to be a feast. You're not doing it because of that small bait to be hooked. You say, this is your right, I am your right. I'm doing it because you deserve to be worshipped. It is up to you to bless me or to not bless me. And you seek in this month for forgiveness. Most important is forgiveness. This is the month, the 3 holy months, that the sheikhs would send the murids to seclusion. To make the physical seclusion not that difficult. Of course, in these days it's difficult, but yeah, like this or like that, Allah has made the whole world to enter into seclusion. So many, they fail. They have everything. They can even look into a square thing and see what is happening in the moon across the world. Still they fail. Because when you enter into that cave, and if all you see is just around you, the walls of that cave, then you become a cave creature. You will die. But if you are in that cave, you seclude yourself and you're watching now with real eyes, with the heart, what is happening in the 7 levels of the earth and 7 levels of the sky, where you are in this, how you're supposed to be. Then that time you wish for that seclusion, and when that seclusion is granted to you, our Shaykh can make you to be in seclusion for 15 minutes. Yes? So for our murids now, make the intention you enter into seclusion this month. Yes, say that. Say nawaitu arba'ina to uzlan to khalwat riyada suluk siyam iktikaf. Make the intention. There is a promise that is given by a grand Shaykh, the one who says these words. Even by saying it, they be given the reward and the blessings as if they've performed the chilla, as if they performed the iktikaf. But our Shaykh is saying in these months, take some time. Especially before the Maghrib, between Asr and Maghrib. When it comes to Asr time, stop everything. Try to finish everything, make it simple. Sit down with that tasbih. Start to make some zikr. But this is the month, as the dua of Wali Abbas. He is not just making a zikr. He is begging to his Lord. How he begs to his Lord? Because he looks to his life. So that dua is not just a dua. That dua, it is from the tafakkur, the thinking, the understanding, the judging of himself, then he makes the dua. So, as the Prophet says, 1 hour of meditation, it is better than 100 years of worship. So take this time when you're making astaghfirullah. Don't enter into imagination world. If anyone or anything that you're hearing is trying to praise you, this is not the time to praise you. This is the time to praise Allah. To say, no, my throne is in the toilet. Say that to yourself, that's enough. Take your time now. Make some tafakkur. Understand, if I'm asking Allah for forgiveness, why? Where? What did I do? Why did I do it? Why am I not able to stop doing it? Why am I able to stop doing it? Where is the mercy of Allah reaching again? Then this tafakkur, this conversation with Allah, dua. It is very valuable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are drawing yourself near, you're opening up your book, you're opening up your chest to Allah, and you're watching very carefully. That is very lovely to Allah. That is important. May Allah make the strength of our nafs and our ego, our desires in this dunya to go down, and the shaitans to go down. May Allah give us more power to be able to put them under our feet in these coming months, inshallah. To use our intelligence, to use our common sense, to understand our weakness, that from understanding of our weakness, Allah will give us strength. To use that for haqq, inshallah. May tyranny and battle fall. May the believers rise again. May the zuhuriyat of Hazrat Mahdi come soon, inshallah. May our Shaykh's feet always be in our necks, dunya and akhirat. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yeah, I can go on, I can speak, but I know when I'm speaking and Shaykh Effendi is opening up, so half of you will be falling asleep because it's heavy. There's a taste of things to come in Ramadan. That's why I start separating people. Some of you, yes, sleeping in front, like this. That's how we do. We laugh. But, never mind. Inshallah, one day we will be able to listen carefully more to our Shaykh and be around people who want to listen. Because there's so many things to discover, so many pages to open. For those ones who are awake, they say, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's interesting to me. So